Goeiedag and welcome back.
In this module, we'll discuss the color orange, its connection to the Netherlands, and other aspects of popular Dutch culture that you should know about. So let's start by talking about government.
As you may recall from the first module, the Kingdom of the Netherlands is comprised of 4 countries: the Netherlands itself, Aruba, Curaçao, and Sint Maarten in the Caribbean. They are all part of the kingdom. This kingdom is a constitutional monarchy, meaning that the political power is not in the hands of the king, but in the hands of parliament. The name of the present-day king is Willem-Alexander. His family name is Van Oranje-Nassau. The family is the House of Orange. Do you know why this orange is connected to the king?
I've heard that the family name of Orange is historically connected to the Principality of Orange in France, ruled by William of Orange, Willem van Oranje, who was important in the road to Dutch independence and inherited this principality in the 16th century. So, originally it was not named after the color, but a city in France. In fact, the name of the town of Orange is an old Celtic name that has no etymological connection to the color. Today, however, the color is strongly connected to the nation, and you will see a sea of Dutch fans dressed in orange. Often, the national teams will be dressed in orange as well.
Speaking about sports, do you know one of, or maybe the most important sports in the Netherlands during the year?
Well, I know that the most important sport in the world is association football, or soccer as it's known in some parts. And this is also true in the Netherlands.
Since soccer came to the Netherlands, it has been a favorite pastime and also a professional sport. Recently, the women's team has done even better than the men, but the Dutch are present in most big soccer events from European Cups to Olympic Games. The nickname of the national team is Oranje, Oranje, formerly het Nederlands elftal, the Dutch 11. When you ask how did Oranje do last night, everyone understands you are talking about the national soccer team. The women's national team are called the Lionesses, the lion being the national animal of the Netherlands.
Sports, in general, are very popular. In the Olympic Games, the Dutch have always been in the top 20 countries by medals. In the 2020 Tokyo Games, the Dutch finished in 7th, with medals in cycling, field hockey, rowing, and track and field, among others.
Can you explain why sports connected to water, like rowing, sailing, windsurfing, and swimming, are popular in the Netherlands?
Yes, it's based on geography. The Netherlands is located in a delta where a couple of important European rivers flow into the ocean, like the River Rhine. There are many rivers and lakes, and therefore water is very present in Dutch culture. The landscape is quite flat, so it's easy to get around on a bicycle.
Yes, and when the winters are cold, which is unfortunately uncommon today, the waterways freeze over, and the Dutch like to skate. Looking at old paintings from the 17th century, you can see people skating on lakes.
In the province of Friesland, there are 11 small cities connected by rivers. If it happens that the rivers freeze over, the province of Friesland will host an 11-city skating tour called the Elfstedentocht. There have only been 15 tours since 1909.
If it happens, it's one of the biggest events in Dutch sports. By winning this 11 cities tour, you will be famous for the rest of your life, and everyone will know who won the brutal, harsh tour of 1963.
So, why no 11 cities tours these days?
Sadly, there has been no tour since 1997 because of warmer winters. If there would be a tour this next winter, I would immediately board a plane and be there in person, like many Dutch people. If the winter is cold for at least 2 weeks, everybody, including me, will get what we refer to as 11 cities fever. The official race, women and men, is a great sight with professionals. As well, 17,000 amateurs who are only skating this tour for pleasure. However, it's hard to finish because of the circumstances. There are many stories of frozen fingers, toes, or eyes. But still, it's a unique event.
Naturally, the Dutch have also been very successful in World Championships and Winter Olympics in speed skating.
That's right. Our heart really beats for skating, especially speed skating.
So, let's finish this module by talking about some do's and don'ts in Dutch culture. We talked about greetings and what to say earlier in the series, but there are some specific customs you should be aware of.
Yes, a clear one is that when you meet somebody for the first time in an informal or formal setting, you extend your hand and say who you are and you shake the other person's hand. Hallo, ik heet Esther.
Hoi, mijn naam is David. Earlier, we talked about the difference between je, informal, and u, formal. The Dutch aren't so strict about the formality distinction these days, but you should still use u if you are unsure. For example,
Waar gaat u naartoe? En hoe heet u?
regarding the common phrase in the US, how are you today? I don't hear that in the Netherlands a lot. Why is that?
We don't like to do that at all. You only say hoe gaat het, how are you, to friends and family. And only if you know, for instance, that this person has been sick or went through a difficult period in their life. Or if you haven't seen this person for 20 years. So you don't use hoe gaat het as a regular greeting when you meet. You say
Hoi or hallo or hey, right?
right. And at the immigration or supermarket you say goeiemorgen or goeiemiddag.
On another note, what should you do if you are invited to a Dutch dinner party?
You arrive on time, but not early. In contrast to the US, you don't usually ask what to bring, but just bring a bottle of wine or some flowers for the host or hostess. Never ever bring any food like a salad, some cookies, or any other dessert. This is considered very impolite, as it looks like you question the host being able to have enough food on the table. Cookies, by the way, are not even considered a dessert. Cookies, the English word deriving from the Dutch koekje, cookie, are big in the Netherlands, and many cities have their own specialty. But you eat them with your coffee or tea, not as a dessert.
Another thing that could be confusing for visitors are the coffee shops. These are not places where you can buy a cup of coffee, but are instead places where cannabis products are sold to locals. Be aware that current law dictates that foreign nationals are not permitted to purchase these products.
Some Americans have the perception that cannabis is legal in the Netherlands, but that is not the case.
So, there are many unwritten rules, like in all cultures. If you're unfamiliar with the culture, it's worth asking beforehand.
Let's end with a very unusual typical sport for fun. In many regions they have some crazy sport. Vuurliepen, can you see why the Dutch landscape in the west and north are very suitable for a sport like this?
Thanks for watching another Language and Culture module with us. Tot ziens!